Zoot Sims said of Stan, he's a nice bunch of guys. Can you talk about, maybe he was nice to you, but can you talk about Stan when he wasn't that nice guy, what he was like?
Excuse me. I think that we have a bad connection. Can you speak a little bit louder, please?
Of course. Zoot Sims said Stan was a nice bunch of guys. What did he mean by that?
What?
Zoot Sims said that Stan Getz was a nice bunch of guys, plural. A nice bunch of guys, meaning he had different personalities. Can you talk about seeing Stan behave differently than the way he treated you?
I really cannot comment on that because, first of all, I didn't know him that well, despite the fact that we worked together in Jazz at the Philharmonic only once or twice, and I did only one record with him. I still didn't know him as well as I knew, for instance, Dizzy Gillespie, because with Dizzy I was playing every night for 3 or 4 years, every night. So I knew him very well. Stan was I wouldn't say, it was a very good relationship, and we understood each other musically, but I didn't have the opportunity to know him very, very well personally.
Absolutely. No, how did you know, to a non-musician listening in the world, when you and Stan understood each other musically, what do you mean by that? Can you give an example?
Well, I don't have to give you an example. The example is the record we did together. That's the example.
Can you talk about during what you remember from that session, and talk about that, because that's a beautiful album, and there's a lot of great compositions that have stood the test of time. So, what was it like working with Stan in the studio? Was there a lot of? Did you have to go? I know that you could put charts in front of him and he could read them immediately. What were some of those amazing genius qualities that he had that made it so easy to work with him?
You see, this is it's a very good question, what you are proposing, but it's a difficult question to answer. I tell you why. Because suppose that you are talking about a relationship in other discipline or another context. Let's say that we're talking about, instead of music, we talk about, for instance, personal, like a man meeting a woman and they fall in love. They don't know why they fall in love. They like each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that this is the same thing.
No, I know. But, I dig.
But I'm trying to establish a comparison. We liked each other. We liked our music. We felt that he had the same feeling that I did, and that's all. We didn't have any arguments. He never. I remember that the only thing, and I tell you how he was so careful, and even how he was afraid to hurt my feelings when I was going to call the album Reflections.
Right.
I thought it was a better title than Children of the Well. And he liked Reflections. He was along with me. But at that time, whoever was the head of CBS, I think it was CBS Records.
Verve.
Huh?
Verve.
Oh, Verve.
Verve, yeah.
Yeah. Now, he, for some reason, there was something about children going on at that time with United Nations declaring a month for children and some in the whole world. So he wanted to call them Children of the World for that reason. And he told Stan to do that. And Stan was, as I said, he didn't want to hurt my feelings, but he said, the guy wants this, and we cannot say that. He talked to his agent, and they couldn't change it. And he didn't like that title because it didn't mean anything in jazz, Children of the World. I think Reflections invites the record buyer to be a little bit intrigued and feel some kind of what kind of reflection. Stan Getz, he's perfect for reflections. But what kind of reflections he has?
I want to be clear about something because you guys did several collaborations. Reflections was an album that came out on Verve in 1972. That album is called Reflections. But then later, in about 1980, you guys did an album together called Children of the World. So those are two separate albums.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. It's so long ago.
I know. But but the point is forget Reflections because that one's already in the bank. The point is that you had another name for Children of the World. Is that right? And
yes.
Okay, and then,
I don't remember now which one, but it was not Children of the World.
It was not Children of the World, but because there was some sort of topical United Nations thing revolving around children,
yes,
the producer wanted to call it that and explain how Stan didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So he was afraid to even tell you this?
No, he did tell me, like when you have two adult people having to say bad news, even if they have bad news, but they have to do it, they do it. And that's what Stan did. He was very mature in that sense, and he was hoping that I was mature too to accept it, and I was. I said, well, what can we do?
Can you talk?
I was happy. I was very happy and honored to work with him. So I didn't care too much if they changed the title of the album.
Did you when was the last time you had a chance to speak to Stan before he died?
I don't remember.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. For a lot of younger cats who are, they want to develop their own individual sound, they want to improvise, they want to take from within and play music from the heavens. Why is Stan Getz a relevant musician in 2016? Explain what separated him as a revolutionary from all other players.
Well, as I said, he brought, I think, if I'm not mistaken, didn't call him the sound?
Sure.
Okay, that answered the question. He came with a new sound to the point that people call him the sound. And that was part of the thing. It's difficult to, when somebody has to express his musical ideas or whatever ideas, it could be a poet, it could be a painter, but in this case it's a musician who improvises. He had to bring all the elements together, his elements up to it. The sound was part of the thing. The ideas, which were different from the ideas of Coleman Hawkins or the other big tenor saxophone.
Right. I mean, he came from the Lester Young school. He came from that.
Lester Young he was closer to Lester Young. He liked him.
Yeah. Right. What did Dizzy think about Stan?
Oh, Dizzy liked him very much.
Can you talk about what he would say?
Oh, Dizzy said that he was a fantastic musician. he said that he had his own personality. He respected him for that, and that in some sense, believe it or not, reminded him of Charlie Parker. Not because they played alike, but because they developed their own language, musical language, both of them. And Dizzy had a lot of respect for him.
That is fascinating. Because, I mean, Bird developed his own language and Stan developed his own language.
That's right.
Wow. Lalo, can we do an interview about your own career maybe in a month or so?
Well, if I am here, I am going to be traveling.
Yes.
I would advise you to talk to my assistant, Jerry.
Of course. it is such an honor. I really want to just talk about you because you're one of the cats. But I just, I appreciate you taking the time today to talk about Stan and your relationship with Stan. But I'll come back and hit you back up for an interview down the road.
Well, it was a pleasure, and as I said, I like your questions, which invite a very. I'm sorry that I did it was so long ago that my memory didn't help you or me.
Well, I think, if you can just humor me and explain, maybe you already did, but I think it's a significant when Dizzy said he compared him similarly to Charlie Parker in that he was creating his own language. Could you try to put into words what Stan's language was?
Stan's language was lyrical, melodic. See, at that time, and even in any time, there were not too many musicians who had a lyrical, melodic. If you analyze his solos that are improvised, sometimes you can make a song, if you play them slower or choose some of the notes of that solo, you can make a song after. It happened very, very seldom in the history of jazz. One of the other musicians who had that quality, and it was in a different period, earlier, it was Bix Beiderbecke. In my opinion, this is my own opinion.
So you basically, what you're saying is that you could write lyrics to his melody.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Hey, Lalo.
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to have an interview with you because I like your questions, and I felt very comfortable here. So you can get in touch.
Hey.
With my people, and we'll arrange.
Hey, love always, my brother. Take care.
Take care. It was a pleasure. Bye.
Me too. Bye-bye. We'll be right back with Brother Todd Barkin right after this. Of Stan Getz here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in the